from CBS Sunday Morning, reality as Trump supporters see it. So right there in the title, they are writing off a huge faction of people who are not buying into their nonsense and pretending they're the ones who live in reality, the ones that are cutting the junk off kids and wearing masks and injecting themselves with pharmaceuticals years after the hoax has subsided. I mean, it was all fake from the beginning, but that's a different story, and I digress. And I've never actually thought of CBS as the worst of the bunch, but the bar is really low, right? You have MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC. I mean, they're all completely despicable, but here we have CBS trying to make a play for it and let you know that if you don't blindly buy whatever the hell it is we're selling, then you're a crazy person. My name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell. I'm adding that in.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot and it would cost you nothing. But if you wanted to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, go ahead and buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description.
While former President Donald Trump has mainly generated headlines as a defendant of late, Mr. Trump's faithful...
Well, he didn't really generate the headlines, right? The media, you guys did that. And for the record, do we think this lady, and obviously Trump is no spring chicken, but do we think this lady is going to evolve with the times, or does she still think that it's 1986 and she's the only one controlling the narrative?
Supporters see him in a very different light. Senior contributor Ted Koppel takes a closer look at the election and what may come after.
Yeah, this old lady and Ted Koppel, who's probably north of 100 years old, they're the ones to usher in, this new wave of media outlets who aren't reporting absolute nonsense.
It's mid-April in an open field at the edge of Schnicksville, on the outskirts of Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Nice warm beanie hats, Schnicksville rally shirts.
Winter has not entirely surrendered. The faithful have been lining up since late morning, although Mr. Trump is not expected before early evening. On a day like today, it's cold.
Oh, look, it's really cold out there, and we're controlling everything. It's collapsing on purpose for our benefit, but it's cold. Why would you come out here?
It is.
It's wet.
Yep.
It's nasty.
Yep.
What the hell brings you out here?
The truth, freedom. We want our freedoms. That's what we're here for, freedom.
Nobody cares about the working class. You don't care about us. You want your ratings on CBS, and you want to lift up that idiot in the White House.
Okay, you've already made up your mind about me.
No, I'm not saying you.
Okay, and he wants to play the victim. Yeah, bro, it is. We have made up our mind about you. And maybe this guy was good. He was probably, a veteran journalist, right, as we know it. But in the 80s, maybe this was good, and everybody didn't have a computer in their pocket so they could double check what you were saying. But yes, we know. And here, I think she's about to sort of capitulate to these demands. But you should just stand on business, as the kids say.
I'm sorry if you thought that.
That's all right.
I'm saying the media, you have been lying to the American people long enough.
This rally took place weeks before any verdict in Trump's New York trial had been reached. But the faithful weren't going to be...
Yeah. So people were lined up in the cold to go see Trump speak before we threw the book at him with these bogus charges. I mean, there's bogus charges all over the place, but we convicted him. We're going to throw him in jail. So says Fat Alvin Bragg, right, out in New York. And of course, this happened before that, but we did that so that we could maybe try to sway some of these people who I guess we're going to say that he's so bad. He's now a convicted felon. You have Alex Soros out there saying, to say convicted felon as much as you can. I mean, it's too late, right? And that could have been something you might have gotten away with in 2016, 2017, even 2018 or 2019, but it's too late now. You've shown the hand. You've overplayed the hand. And now with these convictions, you want people like this to step back and say, oh, well, I better get in line now, which maybe some people do. Shout out to the Kennedys, right, who are endorsing Beau Biden over their own brother because they know how powerful that machine is.
Joe Biden's every decision is informed by his love, his wisdom, and his compassion towards those who suffer. That is why we are so happy today to pledge our unwavering support to President Joe Biden and President Kamala Harris.
Robert Kennedy Jr.'s sister talks like him.
What are you talking about?
Dude, are they inbred? I thought he just had some unfortunate throat incident, like he got kicked in the throat with a hockey stick. But his sister talks the same way.
Leader for us. He stood with the United Auto Workers. He's a man we can trust and who carries forth Bobby Kennedy's values and John Kennedy's values.
As you know, Carrie,
what the fuck is going on?
That's rude. Will potentially take votes away from.
I don't sound like that. Yes, you do.
President Biden and some of the very.
This is huge. They're inbred.
Huh.
The Kennedys are inbred. This is what I don't get about interviews. I would not be able to not say, wait a minute. Why are you talking like that? You talk like your brother. Are you guys inbred? I don't know what you're talking about.
But that's a different story.
He's swayed by any verdict delivered by a New York jury.
He's not guilty. If anybody's guilty, it's Biden. Sorry.
There would have
Guilty of what? They don't even tell you what it is. And the mainstream media, the New Yorker literally calls it a zombie case, a Franken case where they just cobble it together and they have bespoke charges made just for Donald Trump. So, yeah, that's not swaying anybody. You're only preaching to the choir. You're not changing any hearts or minds.
appear to be very few, if any, people in this crowd.
It was rigged. It was fake.
Looking to be convinced of anything new. Do you folks think that Trump lost the last election?
No, not at all.
And truth will come out.
Yeah.
It's coming out slowly.
There's going to be another election. And when it's all over, if they say Trump lost,
he will not lose.
Well,
it's in God's hand, and he's going to straighten this country out.
I'm a Christian, and I just know that there's a lot more to this than what they're showing us out there now. I think God's behind everything we do here, and I mean that sincerely.
You think President Trump is...
And they kind of want to make these people look super silly, right? Like, oh, it's in God's hands. But the politicians and the media, the journalisming talking heads, they are literally of the opinion that they are God. So if anybody outside of that regime, appeals to God, or, an appeal to heaven, as it were, that's crazy. Because, they're playing God. We're going to slice and dice the kids. We're going to rig everything, and you are going to answer to us. And we're going to tell you exactly how much money you need. And we're going to usher in communism. Of course, it's going to come under a different name. But we are going to do what's right for you, even though, obviously, they don't care what's right for the people. They care what's right for them. And communism works because they could just collect a whole bunch of tax money, throw down some pennies to the poor people, to the bums, to the junkies, and then go to the French Laundry afterwards.
A man of God?
Well, I would like to think he is. I feel he is. And every time he seems to get charged with something, more and more people come out to stand behind him.
That would certainly appear to be the case on this blustery day in Pennsylvania. A solid crowd of close to 8,000. They seem to draw energy and confidence from one another.
We're living in a fascist state.
Over these past few weeks, in interviews and at other public appearances, Trump himself has raised the specter of violence should he lose this next election. The events
Yeah. Oh, and they keep ignoring the actual violence that happened. Nobody wants to talk about when he was inaugurated all the way back in 2017 and there was violence. Nobody wants to talk about when he went to the bunker because of radicals. Nobody wants to talk about the obvious peaceful protest that happened for the entire summer, if not more, of 2020.
And it's now just sort of a merry caravan. It is worth pointing out that it has been entirely peaceful, sometimes angry, but entirely peaceful. A few people doing some graffiti. When others saw them doing the graffiti, they would shut them down, make them stop doing it. Bottle thrown, which is not uncommon. So there is some of that, but for the most part, they have been very, very peaceful.
But Trump says, and this Ted Koppel guy, whatever, I think he's a legend. I think he goes back like many years. But bro, you're old. Wrap it up. Hang it up. You don't have to do this anymore. Just ride off into the night peacefully. You don't have to go to bat for the regime at this point, right? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? They're going to get rid of you? I mean, you're already like 116 years old.
January 6th, the violence on the steps of Congress, the chaos in the halls of Congress, President Trump's initial reluctance to call his supporters off. All of that has congealed into an alternate reality. No longer a travesty to be condemned, it is an act of heroism to be celebrated.
Please rise. Yeah, there's some people out there who aren't blindly obeying the narrative of the Democrats and the political regime. I mean, but I repeat myself, it's the same thing. And he obviously, I mean, they're literally telling you, I have to stop, and I think we should all just stop saying that they are saying the quiet part out loud, because this is the last thing they have. It might have been quiet 5 or 10 years ago, but now they're just doing it because there's nothing left. They have to just tell you that you are crazy. Don't believe your lying eyes. We create the reality. We create God, or we are God, and we can create, little boys out of little girls. I mean, it's completely ridiculous, and they want to make these people look stupid, and it's despicable. It's completely despicable. And there's another, now, okay, I'm getting off track here, but the white rural rage guys that were on MSNBC,
I mean, we lay out the fourfold interconnected threat that white rural voters pose to the country. First of all, and we show 30 polls and national studies to demonstrate this, so we provide the receipts in Chapter 6. They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, and anti-gay geodemographic group in the country. Second, they're the most conspiracist group. QAnon support and subscribers, election denialism, COVID denialism and scientific skepticism, Obama birtherism. Third, anti-democratic sentiments. They don't believe in an independent press, free speech. They're most likely to say the president should be able to act unilaterally without any checks from Congress or the courts or the bureaucracy. They're also the most strongly white nationalist and white Christian nationalists. And fourth, they are most likely to excuse or justify violence as an acceptable alternative to peaceful public discourse.
So you mentioned,
who did they think that was for, right? I mean, if you're on MSNBC, you're trying to sell a book to millions of people and you alienate a huge swath of that population, who was it for? Same thing with the sneakers. Oh, well, sneakerheads are racist now. Same thing with gamers, Gamergate, right? You eliminate people that you're supposed to be winning over, and rather than try to fix that, you just rig the outcome.
For the horribly and unfairly treated January 6th hostages.
At some rallies, men identified as the convicted rioters singing the national anthem are invoked.
Is he seriously saying identified? Right, that's the whole thing, and I hate to keep harping on it, but as soon as you throw that in there, and I highly doubt he's going to mention this at all, but as soon as you start talking about identify as this, that, and the other, you have lost all credibility. There could have been an argument, there could have been a point to be made, but when you start eliminating the basis of reality, there's nothing left.
Damn! Now I done heard of trimming the hedges, but you done scorched the earth.
As victims, even heroes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Not tonight, though.
please welcome the next president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
Trump seems to be missing some of his usual spark.
I'm freezing my ass off up here.
They can relate. Many have been out here for more than 8 hours. They are nothing if not sympathetic.
2 days from now,
The former president is only days away from his own trial in New York.
Biden trial. They're all Biden trials. You know that, right?
They know that Donald Trump
I have a crooked judge.
may be distracted.
Fully gagged before a highly conflicted and corrupt judge.
We're only a couple of hours away from the Civil War battlefield at Gettysburg.
The Battle of Gettysburg, what an unbelievable, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways.
Other than proximity, though, the president appears unsure as to why he brought it up.
Gettysburg, wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch And the state.
Yeah, okay. This Ted Koppel guy wants. Oh, Trump's not really sure. Really? Is anybody? Do we have a compilation of Bo Biden trying to put sentences together?
The percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line.
We can find that unity again. Then the message said, end of message.
4 more years. Pause.
4 more years.
4 more
years. 4 more years.
You want to claim that? The same thing with Dr. Jill, Doctorb Jill says, oh, Trump can't put a sentence together. Bro, that's all you. The projection is real.
Statement of Robert E. Lee, who's no longer in favor. Did you ever notice that? No longer in favor. Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow.
Did Lee have an Irish brogue? Almost certainly not. What happened at Gettysburg was the beginning of the end for Confederate forces. Despite his crushing defeat, Lee looms majestically over the battlefield.
Okay, all right, whatever. Robert E. Lee. And they're going to harp on racism and all this sort of nonsense. But the entire thing here, my only bone to pick with this is the actual title. Trump supporters, or reality as Trump supporters see it. And that's them not even hiding the fact that they are trying to claim anybody who does not blindly buy into this narrative, no matter how wacky it is, no matter how much you can roll the tape of all of the news stations basically saying the exact same thing. If that wasn't enough to get you to blindly obey and throw all of what you've known for your entire life out the window, then you're a crazy person.